Let's go over Star Wars Episode 9 and writer and director JJ Abrams. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, a couple of days ago we got that big story by Collider in which apparently the standalone films were being put on hold. And then about a day or so later we got the big news that, of course, by not only Clayton Sandel, a part of ABC, but also by The Hollywood Reporter, that apparently those projects haven't been slowed down and they are still moving forward and in active development. Take it for what it is, whether it's damage control or whether it's actually happening, I don't know. But looking at Star Wars Episode 9 and director JJ Abrams, a lot of the media has been bringing up the subject that really does raise a lot of questions. Now, the one thing that JJ Abrams will not be doing for Star Wars Episode 9 is fixing anything involving The Last Jedi. So, essentially, this all stems from him being the executive producer for The Last Jedi. In case you guys didn't know that, he was actually overseeing the project. You know, the big difference between a producer and an executive producer is that, well, the executive producer, they don't go on the set, and the producer does. So JJ was just overseeing the project. He even expressed before in the past how he really enjoyed RIAN's script and wished he was directing it. And that's another thing to take into, thought here. It's a big piece by JJ and Rian Johnson's script and all. Now, the script was complete for Star Wars Episode 9 in early 2018. I believe it was in late January when they completed it. I believe they began in the fall, so it took some months to complete this thing ever since they took over Colin Trevorrow. Now, there are no plans on rewriting the story based on the feedback to The Last Jedi, and this all stems from a question by IndieWire when they were talking to JJ Abrams, in which they were asking him on whether or not The Last Jedi feedback would affect Episode 9, and he stated, "Not in the least. There's a whole lot that I would like to say about it, but I feel like it's a little early to be having the Episode 9 conversation." Now, looking at the Episode 9 project, this movie will be centered primarily on the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey, and they will be building upon that. We also know that JJ will be putting in prequel trilogy continuity and using this movie as a tool, in a sense, to combine all the 9 movies in one. However, I still think it will surpass both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I think that the sequel trilogy could very well mirror that of the prequel trilogy, whether you guys agree or disagree with me on this, but looking at the prequel trilogy, I think it's safe to say that both The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are really not as good as Revenge of the Sith, and I think that we're going to get a very similar pattern here with the sequel trilogy, where The Force Awakens, it was a good movie to me, it was reasonable, and I disagree with a whole lot more things for The Last Jedi, especially with how the character of Luke was treated. And I think that Episode 9, there's nothing really to worry about when it comes to the characters that we knew and loved in the original trilogy. The only other thing that they could do with Luke Skywalker is a Force Ghost, a Vision, or a flashback, and that's that. I just don't think they're going to bring him back to life. I'm very doubtful of that. But looking at everything that has been happening with JJ Abrams, it is indeed these things that a lot of the media has been bringing up these past couple of days on exactly why JJ Abrams won't be fixing anything in Star Wars Episode 9 based on The Last Jedi feedback. Now, yes, we did hit a big bump in the road when it came to The Last Jedi. Whether you guys agree or disagree with me on that, that's perfectly fine and okay. But I will say this, is that there's still a whole lot more years ahead of us. We do know that based on the Solo box office results, they are now regrouping and they're trying to make these movies in a different way and market them in a different way. And that actually goes for Episode 9. Now, when they mean that they're making Episode 9 in a different way, that could mean a million different things. Now, the script is already written. There's going to be no, rewrites at all. It is what it is. And they actually completed this, most likely, I would have to say, in December or even January of 2018. It was the very beginning of this year. So, looking at everything, with JJ Abrams, I think that since, I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable. It had its great moments. Yes, it had a lot of beats of A New Hope. And JJ has expressed before in the past that he's not going to be doing the same exact thing by doing a beat for beat of, like, Return of the Jedi. He's not going to be copying things like that to that level. They were essentially playing it very safe with The Force Awakens when it first came out because that was their way, that was their platform to bring Star Wars back and let fans know that Star Wars is back. So just keep those little pointers in mind, and a lot of people have been talking about this today as, those are the reasons as to why JJ Abrams won't be fixing, anything in, or should I say, won't be fixing anything for The Last Jedi in Episode 9. Since he did state in that question by IndieWire that, if, The Last Jedi feedback would affect 9, and he said not in the least. So, let me know what you guys think about this below in the comments section. Yes, like I said before, we hit a little bump in the road with The Last Jedi and the Solo box office, but there are years to come. There are many more Star Wars projects in the works, and hey, you know what? If things never get better, there's always the original trilogy. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear